Hello everyone, I'm Richard Hammond, this is Toby Morrison. Before we start, usual questions. Yes, my name is Richard Hammond. No, I've never had a car crash. And no, he doesn't own Morrison's. We're from BAE Systems, we're third year technician apprentices. Anyone heard of BAE Systems in the audience? 1, 2 maybe, 3, yay! Well, yeah, that's Toby's bit.
Hi, so obviously we're from BAE Systems. In the UK we're the largest manufacturing employer, and globally we are the second largest defence contractor. And as you can see here, we're all over the world. Main sites are US, Saudi Arabia, India and Australia.
We, as a company, we do all sorts of things, cybersecurity. We've got a big business there. We do building and integration of complex warships, which is what Toby and I do, submarines, military aircraft, army vehicles, and integration of electronic systems. One of the ships we work on is the Type 45 destroyer, which is the Navy's currently most advanced destroyer. It's one of the most advanced ships, naval ships in the world.
So yeah, does anyone, obviously this is up on the screen now, does anyone have any idea what engineering apprentices do? Anyone? No. Well, generally, the general consensus is that as an engineering apprentice, you do the manual fitting side of things, so welding, become electricians, pipe fitting, things like that. But as engineering technician apprentices, we try and go that next step. And in reality, what we actually get up to are things like this.
Okay, we do more of the design work, support of the guys who are building the ships, and also support of in-service ships. So this is a project that Toby and I both worked on. On the left, you can see how some of the guys used to store their welding cables in one of our build halls, and we had some complaints about that, and so we designed a system to safely support up to 60 meters of hose, which is like 50 kilos, and the guys can then move that around. There's no more tripping hazards, and we save the company some sort of £30,000 in the time it takes each day, guys unwinding the hose, just clearing stuff up. In Portsmouth at the moment, we're building this section LBO2, which is part of the UK's largest ever naval ship, the new QEC aircraft carriers. As you can see, at 18 metres tall, it's a little over the height of 4 London double-decker buses, which is immense. Toby and I both worked on structural calculations. This is a 6,000-ton block, and it's made up of approximately 100-ton sections, and we're doing calculations to ensure that enough welding's done before they put the next section on, and also when they build a section, when it's lifted, and also the rollout at the end, when they put it all and they roll it out onto a barge. It's floated around to Scotland. We'll talk a bit more about that later.
Yes, as you can see here, this is the Oman Ocean Patrol vessel. We're currently building 3 of those, some of which have already been delivered to the customer. As part of our apprenticeship, we do systems integration tests. So on board the vessels, we've got hundreds of systems. We've got obviously the weapon systems, communication systems, radar systems, and various other things. So as part of the systems integration team, we have to go on board and validate all the build work that we've done to make sure that these systems can all communicate to each other. So one test we did was in the ops room, you can control which way the gun's pointing, so obviously if you're in combat you can shoot the right people. So one test we got to run a simulation on the weapon control system to sort of point the gun certain directions, and then we had to check that the gun was in fact pointing in the right direction. So that was quite a good test to see how well we've been performing in the previous part, in the build parts that Richard briefly mentioned. Another placement we do is called detailed design, so it's all about developing the next generation of warship. There's various different parts of detailed design that you can get involved in. The main one that I've done is to do with the build design, because I don't know if you know, well Richard mentioned it, but each ship is generally made up of blocks or units, so they're all combined together, and at the design phase we've got to take this into account to make sure that the ship can be divided up into all these sections, and obviously there's no point designing a really good warship if you can't actually put it together.
So obviously there's a host of things that we get involved in as technician apprentices. Why choose an apprenticeship? A lot of people are going to university at the moment. We do a year at college, a whole year, and then we spend another couple of years doing college just 1 day a week, and the rest of the time we can spend putting our learning into practice. Actually, all the skills we're learning in college, in our lectures, we can be applying those during the week, and that's a really enjoyable way to learn. It means we actually embed the knowledge and the skills, and of course we actually get paid to do it, which is rather nice. We, as apprentices, rather than when people go to university, you do a lot of theoretical work, but we're actually developing the skills that the company wants from us. They're training us, and the placements we do around our site, a whole variety of placements, and we actually build up those skills. So when we finish the apprenticeship, we've got the skills that a company needs and employable elsewhere as well. So, that's rather good. Problem solving and other bits like that. The apprenticeship can take you, well, anywhere you like, really. You need to do a technician apprenticeship. You need to have A-levels, maths, and a science or a technology subject, and that can then lead you through the end of an apprenticeship through to a professional qualification, one of the institutes in the middle, which engineering technician, which is an internationally recognised qualification, and it's a stepping stone towards chartered engineer, which is internationally recognised all over the world, and it's a big plus point to have in your CV. A lot of our hire managers started off their lives as apprentices, including a couple of our managing directors. So really an apprenticeship can take you anywhere you like.
So obviously we do lots of actual work, but as part of the apprenticeship we get invited to get involved in lots of other sort of more fun tasks, more personal development tasks. So like Richard showed you the big picture of the block, when that got floated up to Scotland, as you can see the path around the outside, there were 47 cyclists, myself included, who thought it might be a good idea to race it. So it was about 500 miles that we had to ride in approximately 4.5 days. Lovely weather until the point where we got to Scotland, when it decided it of course had to rain. So it's about 100 miles a day, which itself was probably the biggest challenge, but the best thing about it for me personally was, as an apprentice I didn't really know anyone within the business, so this gave an opportunity to meet people when you're on sort of equal ground. So for example, the guy third from the left, he's the head of health and safety for the whole of Portsmouth. There's engineering directors were there, so they're a great opportunity to meet new people within the company. This is us at the end. A few people worse for wear, a few crashes, a few broken bones, but on the whole it was a great thing to do, and we raised over £30,000 for the Royal Marines and Royal Naval charity. So yeah, one of the hardest weeks of my life, but definitely worth it.
So as Toby said, there's a lot of support from managing directors and higher level management across lots of companies, not just ours, for apprenticeships, and lots of opportunities for team building. Last summer I was involved in a field gun championship. If you're not from a military area, you may not really know what that means, but back in 1907, some guys from the Navy dragged some huge heavy guns across rough terrain to rescue the town of Ladysmith in South Africa. And as in commemoration for that, every year there's a championship run across a course down near Portsmouth. and we were involved in that, and we actually entered as a junior team and won. And this is us hauling our way to victory. Everybody pulling their hardest. So that's sort of a brief overview, a little bit of what we get up to, some of the opportunities we've had in BAE. Any questions about apprenticeships or anything else? No? Okay. Back over to Tom.